I upset a subset of the gaming journalism cohort, whatever it is. Yeah, apparently it all started from a post I replied to. It's one of those things where I'm like, I just made a quick off the cuff comment, and it upset some people. Basically, Michael asked, is this going to be one of those games critics don't like but users love? These Crimson Des review scores are not great so far. I think high 70s. My final prediction was like 81. 77 was lower than I was expecting. I was expecting low 80s. I didn't expect somebody to like give it a 45 out of 100. That one's wild to me, but yeah, that one was crazy. But the score is like a bit lower than even I was expecting. I was expecting like low 80s was my guess, because like I've been saying since the preview, it's a game you love or you hate. You love it or you hate it. Like, and there's not much middle ground. There, like, some people are like, I see the good and it's like, it's okay. But it really is either it clicks with you and you love it, or you just don't. And that's okay. My point has been from the outset to be like very clear. This is a polarizing game. And usually polarizing games end in this like high 70s, low 80s. Like think a game like, well, maybe Starfield's a good example. Starfield or Dragon's Dogma 2 or one of those where there's some people that love it and there's some people that just do not. So I replied this and just again off the cuff was like, I predicted after the preview that this is one game journalists will loathe. And in the moment, I was thinking like the meme of a game journalist, not necessarily literally people employed with the journalist tag. I understand it reads as though I'm saying literal, like, people with that job will hate this. I was thinking the meme of game journalist, like the meme of somebody who is bad at games, but like talks about them incessantly. And if you don't like what they like, then you're bad. I was thinking the meme, but I acknowledge that this doesn't sound that way. I said it's a game that people like that will loathe. There's zero hand-holding. And even at the preview event, I witnessed several journalists, again, thinking that type of person from big outlets, like a couple of people I saw, I won't name them for obvious reasons, but they got stuck in the tutorial puzzle for 45 plus minutes. Basically my entire lunch break, they were stuck on a puzzle. I did see that. I'm not gonna like pretend like I didn't. And listen, it's okay if you struggle with puzzles in games. That's why there's games that don't have puzzles. That's okay. It's okay. Like, that's fine. My point has been that if you're somebody that is like that and doesn't like puzzles or doesn't like, you know, getting to that moment where you're like, what do I do here? Like, let me think about what even is this? This is just not going to be the game for you, you know? And it wasn't surprising to me, which is why I predicted that it was going to be super polarizing after that preview event. Well, needless to say, some people took that very personally. I think there is some valid feedback. Again, it seems very dismissive towards a whole suite of people. Like I said, when I wrote the comment, I was thinking more like the meme of gaming journalists, like the meme of the people that are laughably bad at games that get stuck on the tutorial of Cuphead, and then they rage about being bad at the game and they like blame the game for them being bad at it, you know, like that meme, that type of person. That's what I had in my head, but I recognize and I acknowledge that it does not read that way, because I did not make that clear. I did not make that clear. So some people got very, very upset about it. It's fine. I feel you. I saw what I saw, and my prediction, I think, has held true. There's some people that are loving this game, and for them, it's like fantastic, phenomenal. And you see a common thread in most of the negative reactions to the game, which is struggles with like difficulty spikes, puzzles, whatever the term would be, like open-ended exploration design, things like that. And so I think, you know, the prediction has held true. Some people took it more as an attack, but I think it might just be striking a nerve. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, I upset a lot of people apparently with this, quote tweets galore, and I apologize for being broad with my brush. I was thinking of the types that struggle with game difficulty and then blame the game for it. You know, like, I couldn't figure out how to do this puzzle, therefore the game is bad. That's always bugged me. Or I refused to upgrade my equipment and then the bosses were hard. It's like, yeah, because you didn't do the thing. It's like, I only stayed at level 1 while playing Elden Ring and all the combat was like really hard. It's like, yes, that's how that works. works. So I was thinking of those types of players, and that's what I meant by game journalists, like the meme. As for the specific people, the literal journalists from big outlets, I don't know if they would call themselves journalists, but the people that work for the big outlets and write for them and do coverage for them. I did see multiple that were stuck on the tutorial puzzle for 45 plus minutes through our like entire lunch break. Am I supposed to pretend like I didn't see that? Like, is that something we're not supposed to say? Like it was a thing. And it's okay if you don't like, if you struggle with those puzzles, that's fine. But to then like critique the game for that, I think is funny. I think it's funny. You know, it's just a little silly. But anyway, they're posers. No, they might be people who just like different types of games, which is fine. You're not gonna like, you have to understand these companies, there's like a bunch of people that work there. There's editors above them, and they're assigning who works on each of these projects. So like if you get assigned Mario Kart World or whatever, and you're trying to pick who's going to do the review, you're assigning one of 10 reviewers you have, and you have to pick the right one for that job. Because chances are, if you're like a fighting game player, you're probably not going to enjoy Mario Kart that much, and your score will therefore probably be lower than the person who's a big fan of Mario Kart, right? In the same vein that like with Crimson Desert, who do you assign to it? Do you assign the Assassin's Creed open world reviewer? Do you assign the narrative RPG reviewer? Like who do you put on the project? And I think sometimes you end up with reviews where it's like, this person I just don't think likes these kinds of games. It doesn't happen that often anymore, but I think that this was one of those difficult things because Crimson Desert's doing so much. It's like, who is this for? Because there's some people that this is just like the anti-them game, which is okay, but it's important they know that before they buy it, you know? Like if this is a game you are going to hate, I want you to know that so you don't waste your money, because you may hate it, you know? That's why we try to be clear with reviews and outline what it is and what it isn't, what works and what doesn't. I was talking to a buddy of mine from college yesterday, and he was like, yeah, I watched your review and I know you're really into it, but the things you pointed out is like frustrations and negatives. He's like, I think those for me are more deal breakers. So I think I'm just going to hold off. And I was like, that's the reason I brought them up, you know? That's totally fine. Like you can do that, you know? That's totally fine. It's about communicating to all of you. It's the same reason why I don't do like numbered scores, because like if the point of a review is for you to get information to make an informed decision on a game, it makes more sense to use words and communicate what the game is instead of just slapping a number on it and then being like, there you go. Like I find that people engage with the actual review more when you don't just slap a number on it. You know, especially because some people, their idea, like a 7, for example, for some people, a 7 out of 10 is a C plus, right? Like that's passing average grade in like the US school system is like C's get degrees, right? That's coasting. For other people, 7 out of 10 is like higher than average because they're thinking 5 is the average. So when you put a number score, it starts to throw everything off, you know, it just messes things up, which is why I don't tend to do that. Different philosophies, different ways of working. Different ways of working. Let's see. Richter, to be fair, aren't the bad reviews valid for maybe the super casual players? It might not be the game for them. No, absolutely. This is why, like, I am not saying that Crimson Desert is a Metacritic 98 game. It's why I never would have ever tried to predict that it was going to do well on Metacritic. We were saying a month ago that this was going to be a game where the Metacritic score probably was like really low 80s, high 70s. Like it's a very polarizing game, and polarizing games tend to sit in that like middle or average of the extremes. Like if you really don't connect with a game, most outlets will give it a D, right? It's not like failing, it's not like broken and you can't launch it, but it's not like really good. So they'll give it like a 6 out of 10, you know, or I guess it would be like 2 stars, right? Or 3 stars out of 5. But if somebody loves it, they give it a 10 or they give it a 9.5 or whatever. And when you average those out, it lands right at that like 8 out of 10 range, plus or minus 5 points, right? So the expectation, at least for me, and I think a lot of people, even in this chat, was that the Metacritic score was always going to land about here. It landed slightly lower than I expected it to, admittedly. Like I did not expect some people to not connect with it so much that they were giving it like a 45 out of 100. Like that was surprising to me. But yeah, the reason there's a spread of reviews is because some people, like I said, are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. And the point is with all of the reviews is that you can go to somebody, and if you really connect with like, I know Neon didn't connect with the game. He played a lot of it, but Neon Knight didn't connect with it. I saw him at the preview event. This is not a game for a player like Neon. Like it is not a story heavy game. It's just not, and that's not its strengths pretty evidently from early on. So if you're a player like Neon, this probably is not one for you to, spend a lot of time and money on. And that's okay. That's why you watch a Neon Knight review, right? Like that's why you do that. In the same vein, like if you tend to have tastes aligned with mine, then you'll probably like it. I mean, I'm just excited for people to try it. And I'm really, really excited for seeing the community, for seeing like how the community is built up around it. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for that. Because they even mentioned kind of off the cuff that they built it in the same way that they built like, Black Desert, where they wanted the community to help the community grow and expand and build, which is why even now, after the review embargo lifts, there's still new things that people are seeing. Like in one of the later game areas, like the little tidbit, this went viral, where there's like a full-on train that you can find. And there's stuff connected to this as well, with like the little robot areas in the steampunk part of the map, which is crazy. It's wild, right? But yeah, this is that town that Digital Foundry mentioned in their coverage as well. That's like very steampunky. But like this is just one of those games where you're gonna discover stuff even after 100 hours. Like it's just ridiculously massive. It is not a game to beeline through the main story though. Tell you what, if you're trying to play that, oh baby, you're not gonna have a good time. You just won't. It is not that kind of game. I'll tell you what, it is not that kind of game. Anyway, so that's me poking the hornet's nest. Oopsie poopsie. Yeah, I think I struck a nerve. It's I could have phrased it in a more gentle way. I think it just naturally, some people felt as though I was too mean to people who were struggling with the puzzles or struggling with the way the game is structured. And if I hurt their feelings, I'm sorry. I did not mean to hurt anybody's feelings with it. I was just stating an observation, which was that this is a game that's very polarizing. Some people are going to bash their head against the wall and hate it. Some people are going to devour it and love it, as we've expected for the last couple of months. I think the predictions have proven true. Yeah, I just find it funny and weird to like, if you hate these types of puzzles, if you hate these types of games, that's okay. Like that's to be expected. That's kind of my point. That's the whole thing. It hurts my feelings that you're apologizing. I like I said, when I used the term journalist in the first half of that post, I was thinking like the meme of the game journalist. I'm thinking the meme of the person who's not great at these types of games and then blames the game for them not being good at it. And then I pointed to the exact example of like the people I saw that were stuck on a tutorial puzzle for 45 minutes, which is baffling. But that apparently struck a nerve for some people, which is fine. But the meme is reality. Sometimes it feels that way. I will tell, I mean, I've told you guys the story of one time where I was at an event and there was somebody that was working for a larger outlet out of Europe. I think it was Europe, or like a podcast out of, I forget exactly who it was, but she was, there were a few people there from the event. And one of the people there was this delightful young woman who was super smart and like very on it. But she was like really, really anxious and nervous as we're heading into like the gameplay demo preview, whatever thing. And I was there with a couple of other people and we asked like, are you good? Do you need something and everything? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a gamer. I'm just, I'm not a gamer. Like, what do you mean? She's like, well, I was hired. I like applied. I've been in media, but I'm just not a gamer. But they assigned me to this thing to cover it. And so now we're going to do like a gameplay preview. I don't play games. And like, I felt bad for her because they're throwing her into the lion's den, like if she's not a gamer, she's just working in media, that's fine. But they were assigning her to go and do gameplay coverage and previews and stuff. And no doubt if she were to post up gameplay videos online, like people are going to have a field day with that because she's not a gamer. And it's fine to work in the games industry and not be a gamer, as shocking as that may be to say. There's some roles where, like if you're working in graphics or if you're finance person or a producer, I wouldn't expect you to necessarily have to be the most hardcore gamer. That's fine. But I felt bad for her because like they were kind of throwing her into the lion's den with that stuff. And I think unfortunately a lot of big outlets kind of work like that, where you do end up with people who fulfill that stereotype and the meme of like the gaming journalist who's not a gamer. Or, you know, they kind of fulfill that stereotype accidentally with how they tend to hire and handle things sometimes. And it's too bad because a lot of the time, you know, the people in those positions, they're just trying to earn a living and you know, work in whatever job they can get, because it's tough out there. But then the editor doesn't suffer the consequences if they post a video and get made fun of online, you know? Like, it's just too bad. He took my thing. Red flag.